everyone kind of feels at this time.
A chance encounter leads to a beautiful duet. A man just heard a woman singing and he joined in. This is the kind of moment we love sharing right here on The Good Stuff. I'm Ashley Korslund. How you doing tonight? Thanks for joining us. So those two had never met before, but it turns out they shared a passion for music and how it can truly bring us together. John Goodwin introduces us to those talented singers.
It's pretty silent on campus at Portland State, just like it has been here for about 3 months.
I majored in jazz, so I'm a music major, and that was kind of my specialty.
A disappointing finish is how you could describe Madison Hallberg's senior year at PSU, but she speaks about the good stuff.
I loved my time at PSU. I think what made it amazing was all of the opportunities that I got through singing with the chamber choir.
A gifted vocalist, Madison went back to campus in late May to perform a song for the class of 2020.
I love all music. I have a really wide appreciation, and I want to always be aware of where the music that I like comes from.
For this year's virtual commencement, the school asked her to record this video of her singing the national anthem.
We're so gallantly streaming.
Her voice echoing between the trees, making way for an unexpected moment.
Just as an African-American male walking the park blocks, I didn't see a white individual or a woman or these things. I just saw what felt like music.
Emmanuel Henry lives near the park blocks. He felt the need to go outside and get some air when it hit him.
So as I was walking by, I kind of passed Madison as she was singing. I didn't know who she was at the time or what they were filming for.
And the rockets regular.
I passed and I was like, you know what? Let's just back up. Let's just do it. Just be brave. Just ask if she wants to sing together.
Henry is a professional opera singer and has performed all over the world. He understands how versatile a voice can be.
It heals and something connects.
Like, as a white person, it felt so right singing it with you more than by myself.
Two artists from different backgrounds joining voices.
It is the same instrument with the same amount of love, joy, healing, and peace that comes along with that. And the way that we use that gift is empowering, and it washes over others. It changes their lives exponentially. That our flag was still there.
It's a song with a message that sounds so different to so many, but these days, for these two, it's not about what you hear, it's how you listen.
And listen to what they're doing with their voice and adapt to that, and don't try to outsing the person next to you, but listen to them.
And that applies to all of life. Make sure you listen louder than you speak.
Whether you've worked hard on your voice like Henri and Madison, or you're just discovering it, whatever you do, don't keep it silent.
When we kind of let our voices pour out, there's no stopping us. And the home of the brave. Yes.
Wow. And don't try to outsing the person next to you. That is some wonderful advice right there. So no surprise, Madison studied voice at PSU. Henri is raising money for a project that's called Livin' in the Light. It's a film about singing in Portland during the quarantine and protests. Great story. Well, some Alaska Airlines employees are doing some good themselves since the pandemic drastically cut flights. They're using their free time to volunteer serving meals at the Blanchet House. So many employees want to pitch in, they now have to take turns volunteering. Love to see that. Well, the good work of another group raised $500,000 in just a matter of months. Our Brittany Falkers talks with the women behind the Equitable Giving Circle.
I trust your need. I believe that you have a need, and I want to help fill that gap.
Community trust, a core value to A.J. McCreary and the group behind the Equitable Giving Circle in Portland.
You have a need, I believe you, and I'm happy to get you that resource. I think that's a big part of our healing conversation.
Founded and run by Black women, the Equitable Giving Circle offers a new model of charitable giving, empowering Black, Indigenous, and people of color, our BIPOC communities in Portland, through community-based donations. No strings attached.
A lot of these kind of like these organizations and these bureaucracies, they have all these requirements. You have to do this. You have to make this much. You got to give us this, your social and all these other things. And it's too much.
Every family is deserving. We need to interrupt that narrative that, equates some family as deserving and other families are not deserving enough.
Co-founder Lillian Green says because of systemic racism, BIPOC communities are often in need of more social services, but they face more barriers in getting the resources.
We know that these barriers exist. We are operating that, systems of oppression are alive and well in our society, and we are building systems and recreating and deconstructing systems that are not working for our communities. And I think that's the beauty of the Equitable Giving Circle, really thinking about how we, rebuild and change how we serve our families and serve communities.
They started organizing in January. When COVID-19 hit, they kicked it into high gear, raising more than $500,000. The money will go to meet immediate needs and big picture projects like housing, diversity education, and right now, community-supported agriculture. The Equitable Giving Circle buys shares from BIPOC farmers in the state, bringing food directly to BIPOC families without enough to eat.
We've been kind of just feeding families one-off the last couple of weeks with some of the produce that's already ready, but we'll officially launching the next couple of days. Really excited to get the word out and start getting families connected with quality food.
This, a project that started before recent protests rallied for change, and one that they hope will inspire more giving without red tape requirements.
We're obviously not solving all the inequities, but just doing a little part to help, to help bridge the gap and to move some of these conversations forward.
And to learn more about the organization or how you can donate, you can find more at kgw.com. Well, a showcase of their beautiful art at Oregon State. Seniors celebrate their work with an online gallery.
They've been working on this project basically their entire college careers, starting at the beginning of their freshman year, with the idea that the work that they were going to show upon graduation was going to hang on the wall or be in the Fairbanks Gallery with professional lighting and white walls. So
I was definitely sort of bummed out at first, of course, because like I said, I had big plans for my senior BFA show. And, I was super excited to have the group senior show, to have everybody's work in one room.
the venue has changed and the platform that we're using to exhibit the work has changed, but it's not any less real than it would be if we had the physical Fairbanks Gallery. And I wanted the students to understand that too, that art doesn't require an art gallery to connect with an audience.
I've learned a lot more about my own making process and like what I need to make myself feel inspired. And it's definitely just been a long, it's a learning process is how I feel.
I've become an artist in this program. I just hope that people see my work and see that growth.
And from the gallery to the stage, you know the show must go on even during a pandemic. And today, the Northwest Children's Theater debuted its first ever digital performance. It's called Seussical Online. It's a musical extravaganza featuring popular Dr. Seuss characters, including Horton the Elephant and Cat in the Hat. You can buy tickets online through the end of the month. Just go to nwcts.org.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Oh, love it. Staff at Lincoln City Parks and Rec are getting people to move and connect virtually. The department's been holding dance parties on Zoom video chat. Just a great way to help people get some exercise while relieving a little stress. One of the dance parties was even superhero themed.
We thank you, our heroes, for all you're doing for our community. We invited the fire department, police, first responders, essential employees, grocery workers, hospital employees.
If you'd like to take part, the next dance party starts at 1 p.m. tomorrow. If you'd like to join, you can check out the Lincoln City Parks and Rec Facebook page. And when the good stuff continues, a Clark County deputy gets a once-in-a-lifetime call.
Baby was breathing on its own. Mom was happy, healthy. Dad was like, okay, well, we just had a baby in a parking lot.
Yeah, it's an amazing story you don't want to miss. And with Father's Day this Sunday, we asked, what's the best advice you've gotten from your dad? And we've been sharing your responses all week. We want to leave you with a few as we head to break.
Nobody plans to have that child in a parking lot. I mean, they had a plan to go to the hospital, and, you know, that all went out the window.
Boy, talk about an unforgettable call. She helped deliver a baby in a gas station parking lot of all places. Our Mike Benner had the chance to get the story straight from the Clark County deputy.
The great thing about law enforcement is you can never plan for your day.
Deputy Melissa Sager will be the first to tell you she has seen a lot in her 2 years with the Clark County Sheriff's Office. But nothing comes close to the call that came across the radio middle of last week.
A mother is giving birth in a parking lot.
Let me repeat that. A mother is giving birth in a parking lot. Deputy Sager wasted no time getting to the Shell gas station at 119th Street and 117th Avenue in Vancouver.
It was interesting because my fear was, can I find this person? And Dad is outside the car just waving his hands like, help, right here.
Deputy Sager threw the patrol car in park and ran up to the expecting couple's SUV. The passenger side door was wide open and Mom was delivering the baby. She then handed the newborn over to Deputy Sager.
I swept the baby's mouth with the mucus and flipped it over on like the forearm of my hand and patted a couple times to get it to cough up that mucus. Baby started crying, so I kind of rubbed its back and looked at Mom then and assessed Mom and said, you know, how are you doing? You did a great job. Congrats. You just delivered a baby.
Congrats indeed. Deputy Sager says paramedics arrived and cut the umbilical cord before taking Mom and baby Graham to the hospital.
Baby was breathing on its own. Mom was happy, healthy. Dad was like, okay, well, we just had a baby in a parking lot.
As memorable as this will be for the family, it'll be equally as memorable for Deputy Sager.
We see a lot of challenging things, you know, a lot of death, a lot of tragedy. So for me, it was something I'll never forget. It was beautiful.
Beautiful and timely.
This was definitely a first for me.
It's not lost on Deputy Sager that this happened at a time of great unrest in our country. She hopes baby Graham's birth story leaves this lasting impression.
I think any deputy or law enforcement officer that I know in this area truly does want to help you. We are not out to get you, and when we take our uniforms off, we're just like you and your family. You know, we want to help you.
We just want to thank Deputy Sager for sharing that story. Now, she hasn't had the chance yet to talk with, to check in rather with Mom and baby Graham, but she plans to do that soon. But that is quite the incredible story that family will be able to share. Well, if you have any positive news, just like that story that you would like to share with us, you can text us your pictures and stories to 503-226-5088. You can also send an email to thegoodstuff@kgw.com. And when we come back tonight, we will visit Newport for a little history lesson. Rod Hill takes us to the famous lighthouse. First, though, we have more words of wisdom that you are sharing from your dad ahead of Father's Day this Sunday. Okay, you have to check out this adorable baby cougar. If this doesn't make you feel good, I don't know what will. But this little guy made a brief stop at the Oregon Zoo, just 8 weeks old. It was rescued by the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife officers in Spokane. So he was brought here to Portland for some vaccinations and a medical exam before heading to his new home, which is going to be at a zoo in Colorado. The keepers say the cub is doing great. They called him a good eater. He is so cute. Well, a popular destination in Newport might be closed, but visitors can still enjoy some pretty good views there. Rod Hill checks out the iconic lighthouse with the help of a park ranger.
On KGW's News at Sunrise, it's been fun bringing back a virtual edition of Rod on the Road, and we've been focusing on Newport, and we've been trying to learn a little bit of history along the way. So we wanted to talk about and learn more about Uquinna Head Lighthouse. Very recognizable. Lots of folks go there to visit. They have that wonderful visitor center. All of that is closed right now for obvious reasons. But we had a chance to catch up with Jay Moeller. Jay is the our chief park ranger, and also a bit of an historian. And he taught us about the purpose for the lighthouses when they went in back in the 1800s and the important role for commerce that they played. Here's Jay.
Most folks say lighthouses were built to keep the ships off the rocks. Well, you know, that's kind of true. But if you were a wise captain plying the waters of the Oregon coast in the 1800s at night, you wouldn't want to stay too close to the rocks anyway. Matter of fact, you'd probably anchor your ship and be done with the whole deal. Lighthouses were built to make this brand new Oregon territory financially successful. So if you can imagine the ocean highway like Interstate 5, and every night Interstate 5 shuts down, that's going to have a big effect on the success of farms and businesses in the Willamette Valley. And in 1848, when Congress granted Oregon and California territories of the United States, Congress knew that they needed lighthouses to keep the ocean highway open 24/7.
So Jay told me that when they put the lighthouses in, again, the Uquinna Head goes back to 1873, they were spaced 40 miles apart. Well, the beam from each lighthouse would project out some 20 miles. So the pilots or captains of the ships going by would have one light for 20 miles, and then they would start to pick up the next lighthouse. Pretty interesting history lesson from the Oregon coast.
Oh, I loved it. I loved seeing those really cool old pictures. I hope you did too. Well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please keep sharing your good stuff with us so we can share it right here. We will close out the show tonight with more of your great advice from your dad ahead of Father's Day.